Hello and welcome to Vault Hunters episode 13. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the black market. It is one of the arguably most amazing and useful items in this game. Deal with our regrets, hashtag no regrets, and I'll show you a way to perfect our pretty little jewels. Essentially, each cut has a chance of making that jewel size just a wee little bit smaller. And so much more, starting with all our regrets and working our way through them. So we've already talked about these guys right here. There it shows it on the top right of the screen. But we've already talked about these guys. These regret orbs, they help a lot. If you ever mess up on any of the skills you've chosen or even the talents that you've chosen, you can obviously get rid of them, just eat as many as you need to get back in terms of points. That way you can actually put them to where you actually want to allocate them to. So in this instance, I was just wanting to cover them a little bit more and just explain that a little bit, just because the quest system is a little bit different now and I've got to go back through it. So there is that completion. But along those lines, I did want to allocate a skill point that I do currently have. I didn't actually get rid of or use that regret orb to get a skill point back. It's just some skill point that I got, I think, the last episode. So let's allocate that. So over some thinking, I am actually going to go ahead and choose a specialization for Nova, turning it into Frost Nova, just so that I can have a little bit more survivability and safety when it comes to a ton of mobs coming after me. Something that I can just click in hopes I can survive despite all the mobs around me. And this Frost Nova, and this Frost Nova is going to help me with that. I'm going to be able to completely slow the mobs that come after me, allowing me to have a little bit extra time to hopefully get past them. And with that being said, I'm also going to upgrade the Nova ability so that it now only costs 22, goes with a radius of 4.5, so it's half a block more in size, and the duration is half a second longer as well. The cooldown is still going to remain the same, and then the mana cost is only upped by 2 mana. So it's not too bad, and with everything going on, it's going to make surviving the vaults so much smoother, because it has not been easy these past couple times, as you can see, my little guy over there. And this ain't even the other one. I also have that one. Yeah. We got to figure something out. And let's hope that this Frost Nova change is going to help. Hashtag no regrets. And now to tackle another issue that we will kind of go through a little bit. It probably won't affect us as much at the moment, but in the future, it'll be a little bit more of an issue. Jewels. They take up a lot of space. Like, what's with that? Yeah, we got to fix that. And to solve that issue, in hopes of at least showing you how to, let's craft the jewel cutter. So while using the jewel cutting station, this will allow you to refine the jewels in order to make them take up quite a bit less space, because they do take up a lot of space. And I don't mean in storage, I mean in size. It still sounds like I'm saying the same thing, but I just mean not in these like chests or actual storage. In terms of these vault tools, any vault tool that you craft has a certain amount of size that it allows in it, at least capacity, and the size of the jewels is what takes up that capacity. And typically when you cut them using this station, it only costs silver and gold. Well, I mean, at least it does if you don't have any points allocated to the jewel expertise. If you do have points allocated to the jewel expertise, you'll get about 1 to 3 free cuts to the jewel, depending on how many points you have allocated to it. 3 points being the max amount, as well as, of course, like I said previously, the amount of cuts you can have towards the jewel. Essentially, each cut has a chance of making that jewel size just a wee little bit smaller in order to take up less space on that vault tool. Just be careful, because if you cut too much, you can end up turning a jewel into a gemstone. You got to be a little bit smart about it and perfect those jewels. I mean, if you get real good at it, after a successful cut, the jewel might even go back to the other jewels and tell the other jewels that it feels 10 carats lighter. Laugh, it was a little funny. So I highly recommend using that. It's so helpful, and if you're trying to be efficient with making tools, like I said before, this is your go-to. This is going to be something that's going to help you out tremendously through that. And next up, this is arguably going to be the most beneficial, or even the most useful item in this mod pack. Vault Hunters has one of these unique items that's called the black market. And when it comes to black market, it is quite a bit expensive. You'll actually need to use a shard, a soul shard specifically. And you'll also need some driftwood, and you will need 27 chromatic iron so that you can put them together and make 3 chromatic iron blocks. Those 3 will go to the top, driftwood on the sides, and the soul shard in the center, and you have the black market. Oh wow. And like I said before, it is one of the arguably most amazing and useful items in this game. It's just essentially a black market. All you do is open it up, and if you have enough soul shards to purchase either of these, you can. The shop resets. As you can see, it resets for me in about 34.5 minutes, and it'll reset these 3 items here. The middle item is typically on sale, as to why you're also seeing this this effect on it on the sides of this item. And it is a knowledge star, which is a way you unlock mods, and it is costing 1,104 soul shards, which honestly, from some of the prices I've seen, this is pretty cheap, as well as getting an infused catalyst and a living chest scroll, which I don't see the benefit of either of those, but luckily the knowledge star is there, which I would most definitely get if I had the amount of soul shards at my disposal, but I don't. And if you're also wondering, this is an unknown item. It costs 1,200, but it's randomly chosen within a loot pool that it has. So it's whatever the black market has in general for sale. This is just a way to essentially to gamble away excess soul shards if you got them. And later on in the game, we will most definitely have them because we won't be spending it all the time. But in the beginning, I'm going to be a little conservative and only grab the things that are going to be very, very useful for me. And hopefully, I'll be able to skip a couple steps on certain things. Maybe even skip some vaults to just immediately unlock a mod, like if I could afford this current knowledge star. That'd be fantastic. I mean, I love running vaults, but it takes a bit to be able to have enough to make a knowledge star. And in the beginning, it is so useful. Yeah, I was currently hoping to be able to afford at least one item just so I could show it off, and hoping a good item at a cheap price, but I don't really have enough, especially after my deaths. So we'll just kind of have to deal. But we will keep our eyes open for possibly new deals. Like I said before, maybe if I have enough, maybe we'll be a little bit of a gambling man and maybe try this unknown item out. We'll see. Maybe we'll test the waters later. Maybe. Now with all of those things solved, done, crafted, and explained, we did run a scav vault last episode, and we were left with quite a few items. And if I open up my pouch, my scav bag essentially, you can see all the items that I looted trying to complete the scavenger objective. You can also see that it says rotten on them and it has a soul value. Well, we can get that soul value eventually and turn them into soul shards. So that is a way to get currencies. And you can see even with other items also have soul value of 9 here, 1 here, 45 here, 1 there, 16 there, and 18 there. And like quite a few different Vault Hunters items do have a soul value. And that, just like I said, is just allowing you to have another way of getting soul shards so that you can spend them here at the black market. So that being the case, we have no way of getting that soul value out of those items yet. You could even see here, we have old, rotten, drowned hide and skeleton bone shards, which are also scavenger items. And so I am currently going to just grab all these items out and fill up the old storage with all these items. This is just where I'm going to hold them temporarily, just so that I can spend my time running vaults and get enough items to finally craft a vault soul diffuser. Because I am very short on items when it comes to chromatic steel ingots, because I don't have enough chromatic iron, and also enough to make a black chromatic steel ingot because it also needs that. So for the next couple episodes, we're probably going to be saving up our resources just so we could craft this later on just so we can save space on all the scav items that we're potentially going to get. Hopefully we can get the items to quickly be able to extract all that soul value out of those items, and we can have some moolah. But now that all that's out of the way and my vacation being over with and I'm finally home, I can run a vault. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I've been wanting to run a vault for well over 2 weeks, and it's been a minute. I haven't even played on my server, so this is going to be very fun. Might be out of it, but it's okay. I'm so ready to play. Alrighty, and with everything turned in, we can now get ready for running another vault. Voila! There it is. Let's also choose a bounty. Well, this one might be a pretty good one, actually. Let's do this one to get a couple vault gear, some netherite ingots, which I think we need for some items we need to craft later on, and then quite a bit of chromatic iron ingots. We only got to get a couple dweller mobs, which is not too bad. We'll probably do this just by playing in general, so just by protecting ourselves in general. Let's activate that one, and I think we're ready. Time to hop in. Oh, I got Champion's Abode. Honestly, I'm not upset with that. Let's do it. And here we go. This is definitely not my favorite theme at all. Oh, copiously and more. I love that. I love that two of them spawned right next to each other, and that was even before I grabbed this. I do not mind all this extra loot. All I gotta do is make sure I'm being careful. Go across. Oh, what on earth? What the heck? That thing threw me. It was a dungeon. Little tempted, little tempted. Oh, not the dog, not the dog. Not the dog. Oh my goodness. We'll come back to... Definitely come back to this. Let's just make sure we clear out the room first. Like this area right here. Just don't want to make sure. Just want to make sure that it's gonna be a safe area when we come out of it. Don't want to be spawning in mobs while we're in there, even though it's gonna be happening in there. Woo! Did not see you. Didn't even hear you. Is that it? All right. Ah, not the poison. Ugh, that was ugly. I was not used to that. Completely forgot they fixed it. Oh, I almost jumped right back in it. Has to be a fox. Oh my gosh, they hit so hard! So I gotta be truthful, guys. I died a third time. You know, I did not have this much trouble on my server. And I know you probably don't believe me, but trust me when I say it. Simple mistakes and then not playing the mod pack enough. That break has been, I think, a little too long. And I guess we're gonna have to come back for redemption again. I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles. Just me here with this flipping element with hordes. Oh lordy, it's alright. And with another loss under my belt, I hope you guys have been enjoying the series. If you would like to see a little bit more, if you haven't already, I do have the playlist linked down in the description. Make sure you check it out. And on the same page, make sure you click that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to continue to see more Minecraft-related content. I'm Ruin, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Oh, time to rebuild. Time to rebuild. We've got to do quite a bit more stuff. Oh, lordy. I was not ready for that loss. Time to downgrade these crystals. Play like I'm a much lower level.